Hello, everybody, and welcome to Comic Sports Up. So the Saints just beat the Washington Redskins, 34-31 in overtime, and this is the Saints. This is the win that the Saints needed to be a contender for the Super Bowl because most of the wins have been. I don't know. I saw like some sound in the past two games they beat their opponents in a combined score like 70 to like I think like 20, which is crazy. But finally, they won a tight game. And honestly, I thought the Saints were gonna lose, and that was probably the first time in the longest time, I actually got caught cursing out loud in front of my parents because of a Saints game, or cursing out loud in front of basically anybody because of a Saints game. But that was just a really annoying game for a Saints fan until obviously the fourth quarter, and which I feel really bad for the Redskins because, yeah, Redskins weren't gonna make the playoffs most likely even if they won this game, but they were outplaying the Saints. In the first quarter, Marshawn Lattimore went out, I believe, in the first drive for the Redskins. Didn't come back. It looked like something happened to his ankles. I can assume a sprain because they wrapped his ankle a good bit. And usually, they only do that if there's a sprain, to my knowledge at least. And the Alex Okafor also got injured in the game. And you have to take into the account that Kenny Vaccaro was out for the second game in a row. But with that said, Redskins also had a bunch of injuries coming into this game. And they also lost their running back, Thompson. Even though Perrine, or yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it, had a really good game by himself. He had 23 carries, 117 yards for a touchdown, and his longest carry was for 30 yards. And he had one reception for 9 yards. But Kirk Cousins, he played fantastic. But again, Marshawn Lattimore, who has proven in this game, I believe at least, that he's the MVP of the defense. For the first time in a long while, since week 2 against the Patriots, the Saints surrendered 31 points. I actually take that back. I believe that against the Lions we allowed 34 points, but 14 of those points came off of defense. Turnovers by pick six of Drew Brees and a punt return for Detroit. But this is honestly the first bad game that the defense had, and that's because Marshawn Lattimore was out. So AJ Klein was also out, but he's not. He can be terrible. He may be, actually. He's just underrated. But he's not a proven player like Marshawn Lattimore is. Marshawn Lattimore is a rookie, but he's proven himself this far. Kenny Vaccaro, Pro Bowl season so far, 3 interceptions, and I believe at least 2 fumble recoveries, and a defensive touchdown. He's out for the past 2 games, and Alex Okafor has 4.5 sacks. So he was out this game for at least part of the game. So hopefully those 4 players will be okay. But like I said, Kirk Cousins had a fantastic game. He had 22 completions for 32 attempts, 322 yards, and 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Well, Drew Brees finally showed that he can still get it done. Yes, he technically had 2 interceptions, but one got called back because of I forgot what penalty it was on the Washington Redskins opponents. He got called back, and the first interception came on the first drive. But he had 29 completions for 41 yards, 385 passing yards, and 2 touchdowns. And with 6 minutes left in the game, the Saints came back down 15 points, won it. And he had 11 straight completions, proving that even if the running does not work out, which it didn't for a majority of the game, really, despite Mark Ingram's stats, but about 50 of those came at the last 6 minutes. Drew Brees controlled this game, and he's the reason why the offense did anything. And for a while, it was not doing anything. I mean, we scored 16 points going into the fourth quarter. That's not Saints offense. And considering that the Washington Redskins, granted they're injured on defense more than anything, they were not playing very well. I believe they were ranked 27th in rushing defense. But Drew Brees played fantastic. So did Mark Ingram, especially in the fourth quarter. He had 11 carries, 134 rushing yards, and a touchdown. Well, Alvin Kamara also played well. I mean, he was shut down for a good bit, but he made it count when he did. He had 8 carries for 42 yards, with 6 receptions for 74 yards. And Mark Ingram also had 3 receptions for 21 yards. So again, the running backs have been playing fantastic all year, and it's proven. I mean, they're finally getting recognition as being the best running back group in the NFL. Even Edmonds, who had last game had a touchdown for about 70 yards. Kobe Fleener finally started playing well. He had 5 receptions for 91 yards. Good. He's probably the only weak link in the offense, I believe, at least. Michael Thomas, unfortunately, he didn't have a touchdown, but he had 6 receptions for 91 yards. That puts him above the 700-yard mark a good bit. Past the 700-yard mark, probably closer to 800 yards in this season, but he only has 2 touchdowns this season for whatever reason. Ted Ginn, coming back from a bad game last game. I mean, not to his fault, he just didn't get the receptions. He had 6 receptions this game for 87 yards. As mentioned before, Alvin Kamara had 74 receptions for a touchdown. And that touchdown was really good because because he kind of bobbled it, but he broke through like 4 tackles, so fantastic. Willie Snead, I really thought he was going to have a bigger game, especially he got involved early. He only had 1 reception, though, for 12 yards. I don't know why we're not using him. He's one of the better slot wideouts. In the past 2 years, he had like 900 receiving yards both, about, give or take a little bit. But he's a very good slot wideout. We're just not using him for whatever reason. This is his contract year, so maybe that's why. I mean, that would be a petty reason why. Who knows? Von Bell, in coverage, he did not play well. He was replacing Kenny Vaccaro, and in the beginning it showed. But he did have a sack and a forced fumble. And speaking of sacks, in in overtime, Cameron Jordan got a sack against Cousins. Which, and honestly, I believe at that time it was like second down, I believe. They got the sack to make it 3rd and 18, and then incompletion, punted it. Saints got the ball back, kicked the field goal. Which Mark Green was probably the biggest offensive threat in overtime, in which he got I believe 50 yards. But great win. I feel bad for the Redskins, really. But are the Saints, after this, Super Bowl contenders? This is what they needed to be viewed as one, in my opinion. But thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to share the video. Thank you.